And finally, want to talk about a couple of things. And this is personal. I shared it with the 3D Politics Weekend Report crowd. And I want to share it with you before we wrap up for tonight. This is kind of exciting for me. It was kind of dramatic. And what I want to talk about is personal. I got a call a couple weeks ago from my mother. You know, I'm from a large family, 11. One of my sisters, and I'm not going to name whom, because it's private medical information. She was on a flight and from New York, JFK, going out to Salt Lake City. And she was the lead flight attendant on this flight and has to take care of the cockpit. And she goes into the cockpit. And the pilot says, I just got a text from my wife. She was just confirmed positive COVID-19. And he said, yeah, I just came from home to get on this flight. Now, he didn't have any probable reason to think he might be sick, but nevertheless, a number of days later, a week later or so, my sister's sick. And yeah, it hit her hard. And she said, you know, and by the way, she lives in the Seattle area, okay? Yeah, so she says, it's like somebody is pounding on my chest. My lungs hurt so bad. Dry cough. I don't hardly risk standing up by myself because you never know when the dizzy spells are going to hit you and you could fall over. You can't, when that hits, you can't even keep your balance. She self-quarantined. She did telemed, but there were no test kits in the Seattle area, and they had nothing to test her with. This a couple of weeks ago. And eventually she was, you know, she got all the best medical help, and we all just assumed the worst. My mother called me a few hours ago tonight. She said, I want to let you know, your sister was just verified as having the antibodies of the COVID-19 virus. All of her symptoms have gone away. She considers herself over it. And here's the cool thing. This is the takeaway tonight. This is the exciting thing. They talk about a vaccine, some way of inoculating you so that if you do get the virus, your body can fight it off. Well, my sister's one of those machines creating that vaccine. Her blood is so full of antibodies that she is working with her medical team now to plan a course and schedule of donating plasma, because her plasma will be rich in antibodies. And anybody who can take her plasma gets some of that super juice that'll help fight the COVID-19 virus. This is where humanity has a chance to shine, and I'm proud of my sister. I really am. Because she's going to turn this into an opportunity to help her fellow man. And I hope that that's encouragement to all the rest of us who don't know whether we've been exposed when we're one of those who are carrying it. You know, as we get going in the next couple of weeks, they want us to now start, you know, wearing gloves. They not only want us to wear bandanas, you know, they want us now to even consider wearing goggles. And then, of course, put on a hoodie, something to cover you up. Remember 4 years ago, Senator Don Barrington had the hoodie bill that said it's illegal to go out in public with your face disguised? Well, crap, now it's going to become an emergency rule that you can't go out there unless you're totally covered up. Well, that's a little bit of that story. And yeah, we are excited. Now, I've done a little more research on it. The verdict's not in on whether plasma is effective, actually taken as a transfusion, much like a person with leukemia might benefit from receiving a blood transfusion, or somebody with some other disease, whether it's sickle cell or anything else. But, this is how you find out, is you have people willing to partake in a test and say, well, let's try this. So that's happening. I want to share with you a story before we wrap up for tonight here on 3D Politics Live. I got a call from a municipal elected official who I won't name for the sake of this, because we talked a little bit about what the local strategy is in towns, and it does vary here in Oklahoma. We have some places that, are locked down, curfews and, just things that make no sense to many of us, to people who are saying, you know what? The people themselves have good sense. And some of these, like this elected official I talked to, he said, the people in my town aren't dumb. And fact is, we're doing better than, Norman, Oklahoma, where the University of Oklahoma is. It's got some of the worst statistics in the state. But he talked to me a little bit about a plan that he has and is looking at launching. And I'm going to let him talk about it, but it's going to be volunteerism. People are doing like what my sister's talking about. Now, she's going to be involved in her medical research, but people are also doing community service. As people get well from this, and the vast majority, 90-some percent, 95, 97, 99% may survive this here in Oklahoma, it's going to be time to step up and be those volunteers. When you've got that antibody flowing in your blood, when you've got that bionic power that you're impervious to this virus anymore, you're going to have opportunities. And there's going to be community leaders around the state, community organizations around the state that are going to organize in such a way that people can safely serve their fellow man. And to me, that is Oklahoma. I want to share that with you. Be thinking of ways that you can be helping now, also ways that you can be helping as we turn the corner on this. With that, I'm David Vann for 3D Politics Live. I miss having the guys here, but this is what we're dealing with, and appreciate when they're able to, like last week, a Radio Free 3D that Tom McKay had. Fantastic concept. And tonight, David Oldham again with the COVID chase car. And so we'll talk to you next week on 3D Politics Live.